Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Morning Prep video for Monday, July 13th. Well, it looks like there's a deal in place. Futures are up again, 29 plus handles. We've been through this for the last 3 weekends where there was a deal. They're working on a deal. It was just about every Sunday night when the futures open, we gapped lower, and now we're much higher than the Sunday morning future open in the U.S. at 6 p.m. on Sunday. So now that there's a deal in place, what do? Do we fade this move higher, or do we go higher and start to challenge the highs? You know, that's yet to be seen and determined, actually. So we really need to kind of see how this market's going to open up. I mean, do we push higher into the morning opening and then just kind of drift higher from here? Remember, we mentioned that this was a tricky one too. We mentioned early on that we come into some seasonal strength the end of June into the middle of July, right around the 17th, and that seems to be happening. But it was very tricky because every weekend we had a Greece possible bailout or not a bailout, and the futures open much lower. So it was very tricky to go into holding into any long positions for this last couple of weeks, which I certainly wouldn't have done. Only because, you know, to wake up in the morning and the future down 20, 30 handles like it has been, you know, that's tough to digest. So unfortunately, we had the analysis looking okay, looking right, and you know, the Greece deal and everything going on with Greece, you know, you had to really have a strong stomach to hold positions into this agreement, because if they did default officially and there was no deal, I mean, we'd have a really, really nasty sell-off. So far, that has not happened. I think this fades. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at price. I think this maybe pushes up maybe today, tomorrow, or even all week this week, since we have options expiration, because of the fact that it is a quite bullish week in history. Usually history does repeat itself, so we might get maybe a little bit of a pullback today, tomorrow, or rally today, tomorrow, maybe some weakness into Wednesday, Thursday. But generally, options expiration is usually positive. So let's see what happens this week. But usually now, after we get into that 17th or so, the market now reverses and does exactly the opposite of what it did in the beginning of July, if you look at the Traders Almanac. So looking again probably for some weakness, maybe the end of the week, maybe a day or two here. But next week, we should get some weakness going into the end of the month, where at one point in time we'd make a little bit of an interim low, and then we kind of drift higher all of August, and then I think we need to really be careful for some sort of a correction coming into September, October, which actually acts pretty well of timing, as far as timing is concerned. Okay, let's go look at the charts. Bonds, here's the TBT ETF. You want to buy this to get short bonds. I think any good strength in bonds, I'm going to look to short. This is just showing you where we are. We hit the 38% retracement, and we're going to be down. Actually, bonds are down today, so the TBT will actually gap up again. So I'd like to see some further weakness again, maybe test this area here. But as you can see, higher low from this previous low, higher low from this previous low. Maybe we come back and do a double bottom. This is where I'll start looking to buy the TBT again. Okay, not now. I'm not looking to chase. But again, mentioned many times, I do think that bonds have topped, and they will top in 2015 and go much lower next year. So looking for any strength, big strength now, big push up in bonds to buy the TBT, which would bring the TBT much lower if bonds were to rally. Okay, so let's keep an eye on that. That's going to be one of the trades moving down the road, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. All right, FXI China. I showed you this yesterday, Friday and Thursday. We had a big lower, and as you can see here, we have a big move up, and again this morning back up to the 42.72 area. So deeply oversold, looking for that retracement bounce. If you didn't do so, you did well. If you did, if not, you know, this is just really just back testing here, guys. I think again, China's in big trouble, and that's going to really affect our markets as well. So we need to keep an eye on China, as well as what's going on in Greece and in Europe aside. Spiders. Okay, we had a little bit of a back test, nice bear flag. Now we're back testing. We'll probably get back into this channel today. We shall see, though. Let's see if we fade. If we start to fade and really lose a lot of these gains like we've been doing here, that's not going to be a good sign, okay? Diamonds, same thing. You can see we're back above the 200 barely. We'll open up about 125 points plus or minus. That should put us back up into here. Good sign that we're above the 20 and the 200, but again, let's see if this thing fades. This still chart is very weak and has a lot of work to do if it wants to start to move higher again and eliminate this bearish symmetry. Transports, what can you say? Just a terrible looking chart. You can see this barely above the 8, still below the 20, 50, and way below the 200-day moving average. Okay, again, nothing goes straight down, but once we get done with this little pop-up, I think that the transports inevitably will resume its downtrend, and here's going to be the target right here, 136.70. So just keep that in mind. And we want to watch what's going on with the transports as well, because it is one of our leaders, as well as the Russell. Russell here tagged at 200 along with the horizontal trendline support, and now really just flagging here. You can see this, okay, right here. We're really just flagging, so we need to see the Russell. If the Russell can start to really break up to the upside and take control of this 20 and 50-day moving average, and really start to break higher, that may help equities. But right now, I mean, again, we're just working on a deal on Greece, and that's why the market's moved higher again. Okay, let's take a look at lastly the Qs, and you can see that a little bit of a back test again. We have this bear flag, so a lot of bear flags around here, guys, a lot of bear flags. And next thing, let's see if we break the bear flag yet again. This is the second time now we've broken a bear flag and moved lower. So let's see if this euphoria of this Greece deal is going to hold true, stay in place, and rally either higher, or let's see if it fades. That's going to be the big important factor here this week coming. But again, after the 17th or so, around July, we go reverse and we start to lose a little bit of luster to the upside and start to sell off. So let's see what happens this week and going into next week. Okay, have a great day, everybody. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care.